Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Hello, Lunatic. Today is a special day. Let me just get a few things ready. Oh, yeah, because I am streaming earlier. It's nothing too special though. We're gonna take Lila for a quick checkup, and the only time the doctor had available was smack middle in the time I usually stream. So I decided instead of skipping the day or doing it at night because not really that of a great time, I would stream in the morning. Yeah, so here we are. Here we are. It's Kiba in the morning. For most people, this is afternoon or night though, but anyways. Still testing the morning. One big disadvantage of recording in the morning is that your voice is a little bit thicker. Did you know that your vocal cords are chunkier in the morning? It's true. It is actually harder to reach high notes in the morning. So this actually puts people who work with voice in an interesting situation where if they're gonna do like rough sounding characters, it's best for them to record early in the morning. But if you're gonna do the tiny speaky ones, it's better to record in the afternoon or night because your vocal cords get more stretched out throughout the day. Weird, right? So, anyways, hello everyone. How is everyone doing? Hope you're all doing good. Oh, hold up. Let me grab something here. Where my little guy at? There we go. You're supposed to be a little guy though. There we are. Okay. So yeah, today we finished Demi's commission yesterday. So now what we're going to do is we are going to continue our backdrop study thing. Yeah. Now I was thinking we could do a more stylized like perspective than this. I was thinking about whether I should redo this whole thing, but I think we can salvage it if we do something rather special. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put this lower here. And instead of like more top-down view, we're gonna make this gate bigger. right? And we are gonna change the lines here. We're gonna change the lines entirely. Oopsie. This is gonna be a little bit harder to do, but I think we can still salvage most of what we've done so far without having to resort to completely resetting the painting. Here we go. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. But I think we can even keep the angle. We're just probably gonna have to make the gates a little bit bigger. So something like this, right? You gotta make some adjustments essentially. And this here. God, music in this game is so good. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So, good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. I honestly, I really love watching anime during sick days because I get to like just pick random stuff to watch on Crunchyroll and be like, wow, I did not know this series was even a thing. I didn't even know this existed. And it is pretty fascinating. It can be pretty fascinating. Wait. Ah, right. You know, we can do this. But then we also have to do this. I feel my voice is a little bit raspy. I think it's the fact that it's morning. Can you guys tell? Let me drink some water, see if it helps. There we go. I still need to figure out which time slot is better for backup. If it's night or if it's day. If it's morning. I remember I streamed during the morning a few times. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good either. Oops. So we're probably gonna have to realign some of our lines here. But I think it's fine. Let's see. This one is like this. So we realign the line here. And I watched an anime that was extremely weird. But what is new, right? But what is new about that? Well, I watched an anime that had a guy develop psychic powers. And he started talking with a floating pubic hair. in his cockpit because it wasn't a mecha anime. It was also a comedy show, so if you ever gonna try to watch anime comedy, the main thing you need to know is that Japanese humor really veers on absurdism. It is all about the shitpost. Made the shitpost flow is pretty much their motto. It's pretty much how they do things. So every humor anime that you see is gonna be kind of a shitpost. And it's kind of glorious. You do have to like this sort of humor to enjoy though. The anime in particular was pretty much, I think, conceived in like a bar where two people discussed literally every single like intrusive thought they ever had regarding mecha anime. I am 95% sure that that's how that anime was created. It was just two guys on a bar discussing their own intrusive thoughts about Gundam. And it's kinda peak. It's kinda peak. So here's kinda what I wanna do. I want these lines to be like this. They're gonna cross in the horizon here. Can I do this though? If that is the line, then I am doing like a little, hold up, I am gonna do like a little perspective analysis here for a sec. So the horizon line is, if these are parallel, they shouldn't be curvy. Okay, so, oh yeah, that's right, I distorted it a little bit, so I do have some adjustments to make. Hold up. Alright, let's make this in red so it's easier for us to see. So, ladies and gents, I'd like to keep a presence, perspective work 101. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. So, if you want to do perspective, you gotta do lines. That is the #1 rule of perspective. Perspective has two main rules. If you're making lines in an angle, they have to intersect, even if it is outside the painting. At one point, they need to intersect. So you see right this is slightly tilted towards the horizon, and this is also tilted towards here. They're gonna eventually meet. So this means it is an actual valid angle. As long as the lines intersect, it is an actually valid angle. But then you gotta make sure that shit lines up properly. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I mean, you can add in like lens distortion or something for like special effect, but it should still make some amount of sense. Like, look at this. The lines aren't aligning very well here. So what do we need to do to fix this? This part here is easy. We just fix this. Like this. Now it's following the lines. pretty much okie dokie, okie dokie. And if this part here is meant to be from this part of the gate, so we got this part of the gate, then we got this here. This is supposed to line up with here, I believe. Right, so over here, I gotta figure out how to make the lines here line up properly. I kind of did figure out how to make this gate lines line up properly. I have no idea what's going on here. Over here, we're gonna do... If we were going to do this... I think it would be something along these lines, so really... Need to do... something kind of like this? And I don't know why this part here has a little stool on it, I have no clue. Would have to be at least something more or less like this. Yeah. Or even we could just flip the thing and just go straight for this. I think this works better actually. Yeah. In fact, let's just throw this on a different plane here. Throw it like this. And do like this. Oh, maybe the idea of this was that is meant to be like an edgy thing that goes here, goes out. So in that case, this makes sense. And maybe this is going up inside. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is gonna make sense with a little bit more shading. Although... I see. The idea is that the angle is gonna swallow this part of the detail, so this is just part of the gate actually. Yeah, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. It works. But yeah, it's called Battleship Tiramisu. It is so good in such a bad way. The story is basically, what if the main Gundam pilot was also became kind of a NEET because he gets overly attached to his cockpit and start talking about how much he loves cockpit for the entire first episode. Yes, this anime is 100% very mature, and I think it features like a 90% more male butt than your average mecha pilot anime. 90% of the fan service is naked dudes. There is one girl that is assigned to be the fan service character, and I think they're really just like hammering down how bad. I think she's fan service for parody's sake. Like, the first episode that she appears is also glorious because she writes one of those like extremely girly. You know how sometimes mechas, when it's the woman writing, they have extremely girly designs, where it's like, oh, it's a mecha with boobs and such. Well, this mecha just didn't just have boobs; she also had nipples because there was a flower pattern right in the middle of the boob area, and it looked exactly like nipples. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I can even show it on Twitch. I could get banned for it. I think it's a possibility that I actually got banned for showing the nips, but the mecha nips. But it is really funny because in the episode that she arrives, she actually trades mechas with the main character because she's the daughter of the commander, and the commander is like, okay, you're writing this one now, and the guy is just like, and it's just like really awkward because it is like way over the top. It is the most over the top, aggressively girl-coded ship possible. And it's really funny. It's really funny. The dude gets so awkward trying to drive it, it's so funny. And in the end, he starts getting worryingly excited about driving it because it apparently he started equating being on the piloting the girl's mecha to being in a girl's room. So he starts working himself up into doing pervy stuff and ends up grabbing the mecha's boobs, only to discover that the mecha's boobs are actually missiles all along. So because of that, he ends up exploding himself. Which is an amazing ending for that little arc. That little self-discovery journey. The protagonist is an idiot. Protagonist is an idiot. There isn't a better way to put it. Oh my god. Extra raspiness in the morning. Jeez. That one was smoker levels, and I never smoked in my life. Holy crap. Okay, so right here we are getting the better distortions. And I am not entirely sure why I thought I needed to do distortions for this part. If I am going to do some amount of level of distortion for the Y vector, it should be a triangular one, you know? Instead, this one just goes nowhere. Okay, so we're gonna start by making it straight a little bit, and then we can add the distortion. I think it would be kind of a cool idea to do like a towering distortion. If we're gonna try to do the ceiling like this. Right. Because what's the point of doing the ceiling like this? I'm not gonna do the ceiling now, I'm gonna do the ceiling upward. kind of like you're looking down on it. Hold up, I think I have a good reference for that. Is cancel game. Let's see if I can find one. The angle isn't quite the same, but it is pretty close to what I want actually. So let me show a reference of the angle I'm thinking. See what I mean? Something along these lines. Obviously, I'm not doing the gate one-to-one. I want to make my own little... Gonna try to make my own little design. But it's more or less something like this. And you can see here that the lines... Now, the thing here with this gate, right? This gate I started with a downward. So maybe I do need to, like, realign everything if I want to do it this angle. And maybe I need to go even lower. So something like this would be a little bit more appropriate, I think. You know what? We're gonna... Let's see. Let's see where this takes us. Let's see where this takes us. It could be like a really highly distorted angle. It can work still. But yeah, as you can see here, clearly the straight line are not so straight and they go like this. They're gonna meet each other at the end. That is like 101 in perspective. And the further away from the middle, the more distorted it becomes. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Distortion. Fun times, right? Mm-hmm. So what I want to do here is... we want to do like this. Okay, so I want to do the distortion, but I don't want to affect the lines of the building that I already pre-established. So we can do it like this, kind of. This is why a lot of people dislike pixel art, by the not dislike, but don't really know how to work with pixel art, because doing these things with pixels, like, there's a lot of extra deformation that goes into these, and it's kind of a pain if you can work with vectors, for instance. Vectors would be much simpler to make, I think. Is why a lot of people I talk to who are artists don't really... are like, ah, pixel art? How do you do that? Or maybe they're just being encouraging. That could also be a thing. If that's the case, I appreciate it. Yeah. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. There we go. There we go. So that way we get a visible distortion on this part. I think the gate itself, though, I'm gonna keep it straight because there's only so much I can distort before it becomes a gargled mess. And over here, I am gonna distort around this area too. Like I said, the most important thing is that the lines should try to meet at the top. So theoretically, I can distort a little, like if it's right at the end, because that's kind of how pixel art works. We can even like distort further like this. And then in order to keep this line intact, I can just like literally take it back here. And there you go. And there you go. And there you go. So kind of like this. See? See how that creates perspective? See how that creates perspective? Now we need to do with this too. We need to do with this column too. This is the magic of perspective. Gives you a whole new perspective on life. With the power of perspective, soon enough, you will learn how to invest. Yes. You'll make important financial investments now that you learn how to have perspective. Oh, if that only were true. If that only were true. Anyhow. And finally, you can own your very own Subaru. And over here. Important financial perspective. I bought a Subaru just so I could make ReZero jokes. That's the keen sense of important financial perspective that you need. Buying a car to make ReZero jokes, clearly. Of course. There we go. There we go. Now we only need to work this line out here too. And we're pretty good to go. Let me see here if the line is okay. There we go. The top part here doesn't matter as much because it will like be covered. But the main thing is, the main question we need to ask is, are the lines crossing at the end? And the answer to that, I think, is no. Crap. The lines need to be shorter. The lines need to be shorter. Actually. Which means they need to be further. So it would actually be something akin to this. Yeah. We wanna go for this distorted angle. This is where we should be aiming. This is what we should be aiming for. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really something akin to this. And it would like, yeah, for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna make it this one straight. It's still gonna give the impression that it's gonna meet at the end because technically these lines are hidden. So we got like a plausible deniability thing that they crook right here. We got some plausible deniability there. It's fine. And yes, sometimes when you're doing art, you're gonna need plausible deniability. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. It's fine. At the end of the day, right? Art is a series of techniques that aren't there to accurately portray something, but to trick people's brains that you're actually portraying something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At the end of the day, art is an explosion, indeed. Art can indeed be explosive. Thank you for the pet, lunatic. Okay, so we're going for this very distorted angle. So let me see. How would you do that? Theoretically, we would need to draw. We would need to draw like this whole area here, right? We want to make a wooden like this. So first that would be like little boards. I know, I do know. He had the worst of that in the show, honestly. He actually had the worst of that in the show. I am 95% sure that was it Kishimoto? Is Kishimoto the writer of Naruto? Was it Kishimoto, the guy's name? My brain gave me Kishimoto. Yeah, Masashi Kishimoto. Yeah, it's Kishimoto. I am 95% sure that Kishimoto wrote himself into a corner because he made a character that was actually too strong for Sasuke to defeat. So, because of that, he needed to do something that only Sasuke could do to defeat the guy. And also at the same time, he made the guy to be completely unbeatable by Sasuke's usual jutsus. So Sasuke ends up beating the guy. Do you remember how Sasuke ends up beating the guy? Sasuke ends up beating the guy with the power of stare. He literally stares at the guy too hard and he explodes. That is actually one way to define the way the events happen, and that is actually accurate. The guy is beating Sasuke. Sasuke just gives him a dirty look, and he goes, "You don't appreciate my art. You know what? I'm gonna show you the biggest explosions of them all. I'm gonna have to sacrifice myself in order to explode this hard, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it." And then he does it. And Sasuke survives. And he looks like a freaking fool now for doing that. And if I recall correctly, he had already won. The fight was already over. I mean, in a sense, because he was like the overly artsy type, right? It kinda works because it isn't about actually completing the mission or getting the job done. It was about the art. So it kinda works that he does that, but at the same time, goddamn, that was a cop-out. That was such a cop-out. You could see that Sasuke should not have won that. 1, 2, 4. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think if they wanted to sell that, if Kishimoto wanted to sell that angle, he should have made the guy like trying harder to get Sasuke's attention from the get-go. It felt a bit cop-outy, you know? It felt a bit cop-outy. Like, dude was kind of an attention whore, but I don't think he was self-destroying levels of attention whore, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That was definitely a thing of all time. That happened. That was a thing of all times. The type of character I can see absolutely doing that, though, is... Well, Danganronpa's theme is playing. I could definitely see Junko pulling that stunt off. That felt way more in character for her. But yeah, that character is really fun. And it sparked a lot of interesting conversations, like... If that dude wipes his ass, I think he needs to be really, really careful. You know? If he doesn't want to taste... He doesn't want to taste it. He needs to be really careful. Mark had lots of mature conversations. Lots of mature conversations. Okay. Thank you for the headband. And highbrow humor. Highbrow humor. Ah! Because it's poopy jokes. Ah, there we go. There we go. I like the Zango better. I like the Zango better. There we go. There we go. Zango is way better. We can use the pixel art to the size here. Nice, nice, nice. Man, that's some good distortion we're getting here. That is some good distortion. Now, what we need to do is... We could do this boxy roof. We could do this more here. Let me take a look at some roofs. Japanese castle roofs. I don't want to get them wrong, you know? Yeah, there's like a box-like structure, usually. It's all very boxy. There's usually like some things that go into holding the tiles together. In a sense, it's almost made for pixel art. So we could just make a few lines here. Which would be like this. Yeah. But this thing only applies if it's parallel. If it is like more forward, it would be like this. So this one... Yeah, no, I think we can do it like this. I think we can do it like this. I think at this final line here, I'm gonna make closer. This is where the tiles are gonna be. Okay. You can almost start to see it, right? You can almost start to see it. So let me draw some mother freaking tiles. Let's draw some mother freaking tiles. I find Japanese styles to be like very interesting. They are not that different. Interesting they are. They're not that different than regular tiles, but at the same time they kind of are, because they have this very curious like log structure to them. Then they kind of go down. And then you rise another log. And then it kind of goes down. The simplified version's pretty much this. It's a little bit more than that though. And there are variations. But yeah, basically I think you like draw a log. I'm getting too many far views. I'm getting too many faraway views here in my research. I need something closer. Google is just not giving it to me today. Gonna do it like this. There we go. I also watched a very curious show called Cerberus. And that show was a little bit wild, let me tell you. Because first of all, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit boring. It's sort of an older show. It's called Cerberus Holy War. And it's really funny because technically speaking, it neither has a Cerberus or any wolf slash dog monster in it. Neither does it actually feature a holy war. There is no actual holy war in the anime. Maybe if you kept reading the visual novel, a holy war would appear at one point. And that's kinda why it's maybe that's the real reason why it's called the Holy War. Maybe the real Kerberos was the thing that was kept out of the anime adaptation all along. But yeah. The show had a few elements that I thought were definitely interesting choices. They were absolutely very interesting choices. See, it looks like it. It looks like it. It's looking like it. Dude, please, I need to sleep. It's nothing to do with you other than I need your ninja magic, please. Aww. Hey Rose, welcome to the stream. Wait, hold up. Don't you like wake up when it's around the time where I'm almost ending my stream usually? What time is it to you? Welcome to the stream. What time is it to you right now? Okay, so now we're gonna add some distortion. Do this. I'm supposed to wake up about 6 hours for now, but I have been sleeping poorly. Oh no, I see. Good luck, Rose. Well, I don't know. Maybe if you put your phone... It's 12:57 in the middle of the day. I see. You just have a different sleeping schedule. Gotcha. Sleep schedules, am I right? It's almost like scheduling sleep is a bad thing. Not a good idea. I don't think scheduling sleep is a good thing. It's a good idea, you know? It could be a good thing, but it's not a good idea. I have the best sleeping schedule because it lets me be awake when my friends are around and everyone lives in cool countries. I see. That is good. It's kind of funny when you think about it though. Why is it called a sleep schedule? It's like, yeah, well, sir, your appointed sleep schedule is 3 in the afternoon. It's kind of like you have a meeting with your sleep, right? Isn't that weird? Having a meeting with your sleep. You should let sleep come whenever you want. That's also kind of the thing, right? Sleep is kind of meant to be a little bit of a more spontaneous thing, right? That happens naturally when the sun's going down, and somehow we manage to screw a very basic part of our lives up so badly. I'm sensitive to light and sound, so the sleep is focusing on both being around for enough of the day so I can disturb but avoid as much as possible. That is clever. I see. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. It's just that the term sleep. I was just pondering that the term sleep schedule was very business-like, right? I think at least. Holy. Streaming in the morning, the voice will fail. For no good reason. Oh, so that is a good way to get around that. I do most of my appointments in the morning so I can get them to do them before bed. Ah, clever. Clever. I see. That is cool. Let's see. That's a good way to adjust sensibility with sound and with like light and stuff. But hey, since I can't sleep, I got to watch my cool friend Ninja, who will play some of Neo 3 demo, which lets me be a ninja as well. Neo 3 lets you be a ninja? Oh, that is cool. Man. Like... Not to say anything bad about Sekiro, but I thought that Sekiro lacked the stealth mechanics in Sekiro were a little bit lacking. And also there is the Mist Village area, which for some reason triggers my... I don't know why, but that possession in particular triggers my vertigo. And because of that, I can't actually finish that game. That section makes the game unbeatable to me. Yeah, the Neo games have had ninja skill trees, but they up at things big. It seems Neo hard most souls out. Like, but I enjoy spamming shurikens. That is good. Spamming shurikens is good, especially in a Souls-like. There is a reason why bows are nerfed so much in Elden Ring, because they wanted to make the game to be hard and you not cheese it too much. I do love a good cheese though. I am still trembling a little bit from that fight that we had with Dr. Wily on the stream. That one was wild. As long as I had to hit things with Zarigama and spend shurikens as spell, it's go good in Neo 3. How is... I think Medina gifted me Neo 3. If I'm not mistaken. She gifted me one of the Neo games. I don't know which one. I need to check. Actually, I need to play that, actually. I need to play that. I know it's kind of been a while. Did you know that originally my plan for this channel was to try and play as much stealth and ninja related games as possible? But then I ended up giving up on it because they're just It just didn't felt like there were too many. They are my favorite Souls-like, but yikes, they are hard. Ah, I see, I see, I see. That is kind of the point. That is kind of the point, I think. No, please don't do that yet. I really want to finish more Mega Man games now. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll with Mega Man games. Like, I know we beat Mega Man 7, but I still don't know how you're supposed to beat that boss fair and square. I have zero clues how you're supposed to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nah. Because the method we used, I'm pretty sure was not the method that was meant to be used. Hold up. Let's see if I can do this. Hey, Lunatic. Thank you for the reading. Hope you have fun with it. There we go. You're welcome. Was that good? Thank you. Maybe the deeper voice does help. Okay, so here's the idea. This very last one is gonna be farther than the other. Give it a little bit more sense of the distortion. Honestly, distortion. Yeah, maybe these ones should be like this. I think. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I think we got the basis. Now let's go. It's kind of funny. All tiles for castles I've seen are either green, gray, or blue. Or dark blue. There is no in the middle. There is no in the middle. I think I want to do gray for this one. There's no middle ground. Let's do it. Gray is a nice color. It is. This is the Game Boy Gray, so we don't have as much tones as we don't have that many tones to work with, but should be fine. Also, I think I had an idea for new OCs. So it's a hear me out moment, right? But basically, there are two gatekeepers of hell in Japanese lore. Mizuki, which is horse guy. And Gozuki, which is cow guy. Now, imagine this, but get this. They're cute anime girls. I know. It's like... Hear me out, roof tile waifu. Clearly, we're on a similar wavelength. Clearly. Everything is better if you make it into an anime girl. Amazing, exactly. We can ride the wave of the horse girl popularity. And we can add the... See, it's very synergistic. Still like roof tile life idea. I do this. Hold up, let me actually... Whoa. Is it just this? Do I not add some extra shadows to it or some extra design? Yeah, no, I think, yeah, no, that is it. I thought there was more to add, but I do think currently... What? Oh my god, thank you so much for the raid! Hello! Hi Candy, how are you doing? Welcome! You are doing art? Oh my god! Candy Raid, welcome! How are you doing? Thank you for the shout out, Lunatic. Welcome everyone! Cool art? That is awesome! Cool art is good. What were you drawing today? What are you drawing? Let me know. Tell me. And thank you for the follow, Mikazine. Thank you very much. 11 hours, that's a lot. Are you okay? Do you need to rest? That is a long time to be drawing. Damn. If you need to raid a rest, I absolutely understand, by the way. But I'm really glad you dropped it by. I really appreciate it. Did I collab a PNG tuber and an emote? Ah, I see. Ooh. What type of emote was it? Surely it was a cute one, that's for sure, but... Also, for followers, you can edit your ninja link down below in the session of the stream. Yeah. Every follower gets a little ninja link. It can be edited. Oh my god, that was... You were working hard. You were working hard. So, to explain what the hell I'm doing... Working on uploading it. Nice. We are making... we're doing background work, essentially. And we're limiting ourselves to only the palette that's available on the Game Boy Color. I'm doing this because I was playing a Game Boy game that had a bunch of different little scenes. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. I kind of want to do that, but I don't want it to, the color palette to be too restricted. So I decided to try the Game Boy Color palette instead of the regular Game Boy one. The regular Game Boy one is a little bit too much restrictive for me. Although I would like to try doing the work with that someday. Yeah, I think it looks better like that. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, I did some... Where did I do the adjustment? Damn. Wrong layer. There we go. So right now I'm trying to apply a lot of like perspective theory to pixel art. And working on it, but I'm glad. Thank you for the raid again. That is the new emote. Oh, it's very cute. It's very cute. Head pet emote is always champ. Ooh. Come on, layers, work with me. Don't work against me, work with me. There we go. Here we go. Thanks, I must go shower and sleep. Much love. Alright, have a good one, Candy. Bye-bye, rest well. So, yeah. Am I... Let me see if I am doing this right. Yeah, I think I am... Right. This is where I started distorting a little bit. This is where I started distorting. Or is this like this for no reason? I think I found an error in the art. Right here? No. It's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. Okay. It's fine. Everything fine. There we go. But yeah. Yeah, they're like little log shapes. The tiles. Reminds me a little bit of some Brazilian tile shapes, you know? Which is why I keep bringing reference up a lot, so I don't accidentally make the wrong type of tile. Although I do wonder... Oh, you know what I just thought? Since these are technically closer, maybe we could make it then bigger. I wonder if this is too disrupting. Also, I hope you guys can't hear what's going on outside, because... Nah, it doesn't work that well. It doesn't work that well. Sometimes in pixel art you gotta pick your battles. You absolutely gotta pick your battles. The dog's neighbors don't get along very well, so they are... currently, well, they're not literally having a knife fight, but it does sound like they're having a knife fight, you know what I mean? They're settling their disputes. What if you made 1 pixel bigger down? It looks like this. I could do like this. But it doesn't quite feel right, does it? Yeah. That the main issue with pixel art is this. You don't have half pixels. Sometimes in order to get the right proportion you would need half a pixel. You don't get that. And if you did, the pixel art would look freaking weird. This is where people who aren't used to pixel art get it wrong. This happens a lot in TV shows that try to do like emulated pixel art of sorts. Right, as they end up not working with actually pixels, they end up making squares instead. And when they make those squares, they end up making half squares on the squares. And that shit's no good. That shit's no good. That's how you get the mixels. Mixels are kind of a plague. Basically, a mixel is rarely ever a byproduct of actual pixel art. It's usually a byproduct of like the game developer not knowing how to use the pixel art properly in the game. So this is a thing that I did a lot when I was trying out game design when I was younger. Basically, would you count your model as having mixels? My model does not have mixels. However, let me show you how. Unless I do the thing. Still doesn't have mixels. It has like stretchy parts, but not really mixels. This is how you get mixels. I shrunk my head, And right now, the pixels in my head are smaller than the pixels in the rest of my body. So you have two different types of pixels mixed together in the same drawing. And it doesn't look even that bad from this distance, but the closer you get, right? This one is actually subtle, but let's say I take a pixel art asset. Like this blade. Right now, this blade is completely in sync with my model, more or less. But if I start making it too big, the difference in pixels becomes more noticeable. Do you understand what I mean? So usually what will happen in this is like you have a game where you have a character and you have a resized sprite of a villain, and then you have a tree that's resized differently than the main character, and you have an enemy that's resized. The more, hold up, I can actually show. Okay, so you have me, then you have the sword, and then you have this chicken, and you have this chicken hat. So look, all the elements in different sizes. All the elements in different sizes with different pixel art resolution. See that the more elements I add, the more distracting this becomes. If it's like a single one, you can kind of forgive it, right? But the more are in the screen of different elements interacting with me at the same time, the weirder it gets. So that's Mixels. It can sometimes be used with good effect. I remember like there's an old Mario game where there is a giant world where they just resized all the sprites for the enemy characters. But even so, if you have this, right? It's a good idea to keep the resized characters in hold up. How big is this? I kind of wish there was a ruler setting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, definitely not 11. There we go, 11. But yeah. Although it would make handy, but I do think knowing how to do this is kind of cute. Anywho. Na 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 The final note of that one is like pretty hard. I hope I kinda did it. I think I off-keyed there at the end. That actually reminds me that the original version of the Hyakusenman is actually off key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the off keyness actually adds to the song. Because it's a song about being lost in life, so there is a degree of like desperation on the character of the person who is playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like super cool. Have you ever seen the video, the Hyakusenman video? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have not. It's a really old internet meme. It's a really old internet meme. Do I play it? Do I get copyright strike? I mean, I discovered that I've been getting like copyright striked for nearly every one of these pixel art videos, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I discovered which song I'm getting copyright striked for. I believe it's this one. But here's the catch. I'm not getting copyright striked by Square Enix. I'm getting copyright striked by some fucker who made a remix of the song that is off-key. It's pretty bad compared to the original. And they're using that to copyright claim people who play this music. It's literally a munch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But like, I'm not getting monetized by this video, so I don't really have to do anything, you know? I'm not getting copyright striked here on Twitch. I'm getting copyright striked on the YouTube VOD channel, which is just a dump channel. So it is pretty much moot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is like a moot point. But I was annoyed because I couldn't figure out what was the song that was getting me copyright striked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do, 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. People really take advantage of the fact that things are automatized. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Lunatic, were you here when I finally beat Wily in the Mega Man 7? I don't think you were. The final boss had an attack that was actually so hard to dodge. But so hard to dodge that I had to develop an entire strategy around the fact that I could not dodge him. So basically I discovered that there was a stage I could revisit that had essentially a health potion item that could be stored in my inventory. So I did that. I farmed the item till I could reach the maximum amount, which was 4. It was a full heal. Then I would try to trade damage with it using its weakness, which didn't dealt a lot of damage, it dealt like 2 damage. And try to at least dodge the first attacks, because the first attacks were easier to dodge. So I could save enough health to actually have enough remaining health to kill him. And then I would have to do a perfect run on his first phase, because it was a 2-phase boss. And it was pretty hellish. It was a pretty hellish experience, actually. Up, time to do some daily art when I wait a May and watch Kibatun's Mazy art. Alright, Rose, you go do your art. I'll be right by you doing my art. Right here. Yes, yes, yes. Was one hell of a struggle. But then, I wasn't quite able to do it, for the most part. But then I discovered that actually there was another weapon that was extremely impractical to hit, that was his true weakness. He had a sort of weakness and a true weakness. The other weapon was a very impractical curve-like attack that went down. It was the coils from Coil Man, Spring Man. And that was the true weakness. If I charged that attack, it would deal more damage than the Freeze Cracker, which was the other attack that he was vulnerable to. Because any other weapon would just think off him, and the only other way to deal damage to him was the Charged Buster. The regular Buster did not do anything. The regular Buster just went think, think. Which was scary. It was absolutely scary. But yeah, I don't know if you have to be like a super agile with your fingers in order to dodge that boss attack, or if it was just really a matter of, well, actually, if you are at my point, whenever the characters spawn at this point, you can just press up and dodge perfectly. It could be one of those. Like, old games are very much like that a lot of the time. There are, like, final bosses that are impossible to interact with, except if you stand in one specific spot on the screen, they won't hit you. So you kind of have to take the jankiness into account. And it was actually totally how the developers designed the boss to be beaten. But the important thing is that we figured out a strategy and won in the end. That is what truly matters in the end. We could do a white wall, but it is meant to be this castle. So maybe darker? We could still do gray. I don't know. Could do it kind of like this, whereas this part here is stone. There we go. Na 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 na. Ah, it looks kind of neat. Oh, look at this. It's flashing out and taking color. It's taking life. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Oh, right. I nearly forgot. Actually, this whole area here is cut off. Because this is where there's a paradigm shift. I forgot. Okay, this is pretty cool to do, by the way. This is a pretty cool thing to do. Because this is a different wall. Right? So, what we have to do here is we have to do like a whole different thing. This is a whole different thing. But let's do it like this. But yeah, I started talking about the Care Bears anime and I never finished talking about it. It was an interesting anime. It had like the most... You know how most animes are... most animes in the visual novel genre are complete power fantasies? That one was trying to be the exact opposite, I think, because I don't think I ever seen a protagonist this ineffective in a long time. Kid got his ass beaten everywhere he went. Like, I actually felt bad for him. I actually felt kind of bad for him. He was He was written interestingly because he valued looking cool a lot, but he would just like get the short end of the stick a lot of the time. He ended up like still being a good protagonist in other regards. Not kinda. Wasn't that good of a protagonist, but you know, he was a kid. He was trying his best. But it was so funny. It was so funny. Just getting demolished wherever he went. He didn't get a lot of wins. He got most of his wins whenever it was about running away. He was very much a survivor character. It really was about surviving, but he also had like this big pride. So he wanted to be cool and be a swordsman. It's like the kid was a swordsman, wanted to be a swordsman because he had a swordsman sensei, and the swordsman sensei, all he could do was teach him how to fight with a sword. But actually, he would have been a kick-ass mage. The story goes out of the way to be like, yeah, the hero kinda sucks, but here's why. He's literally trying the wrong... He's literally trying the wrong weapons for his build. He is literally trying the wrong weapons for his build. And he insisted on them till the end. Insisted on it till the end. Even after finding out the truth that he was actually really good as... I mean, to be fair... They made this really weird thing where when he was being taught how to use magic, for some reason magic became invisible. And I don't know why, because when they fought a mage earlier, they could see the magic work pretty well. But I guess because his magic style was like ether or something, it was invisible to the naked eye. So it just felt like his teacher was pretending to teach him magic while not actually doing anything. Which, I'll be very fair, looked really funny. But also also bothered me a little bit because it wasn't very consistent with how magic worked so far in the show. So it did lose me a little bit. That did lose me a little bit. Also, that sensei character looked like Yoda for no reason. I have no idea why. It looked like Yoda. It did. It looked like Yoda. And it still is a visual novel, it still is a product of its time. So it did check a few marks where it's like, yes, the protagonist also had an evil, overpowered badass side. Which is a trope I usually like, honestly. But they kind of underused it a little bit. It didn't like have much of a... It could have had more weight to the story, I think. But I think the main issue with that show at the end of the day was that it was a little bit rushed. Like, most of the character development was done in... It was an entire show in 12 episodes. And there was a lot of stalling, and the plot wasn't like... Okay. So, hold up. Let's talk about it. What's the plot of this? What is the plot of this show? I need to talk about it. We need to discuss. So basically, the show opens with a bunch of people doing a ceremony, and they're trying to seal the evil dragon of Evil Dragon Land. The way that this is written, it does feel kind of like Fire Emblem, because it did like struck a few chords that Fire Emblem usually goes for, like there being like an evil dragon that if resurrected could cause terrible wars, and you have the villain who is trying to resurrect the evil dragon, or maybe sometimes the villain is the evil dragon. But this one had a plot twist that I believe actually happened in one of the DS games, where turns out the evil dragon was you all along. The evil dragon was you all along, which is fair. It wasn't quite that. Essentially what happened was Protect-kun was but a wee baby, and he was helping his father in sealing the evil dragon of evil darkness, which is a very dangerous job for a little kid, but it's fine. All he has to do is hold a sealing mirror for a little while. What's the worst that could happen? Well, some bastard out of nowhere shoots the father with an arrow and causes him to lose control of the sealing ceremony. And now the dragon is free and pissed off, and he is gonna destroy and eat everyone with his mighty flames of purgatory or something, which are so hot they can burn your soul. This is all very tuning. If this sounds like very tuning stuff, it's because it is. Yes, this is very tuning stuff. This is the type of anime we're dealing with. It's fine. Okay, we got a good angle here. I think we got a good angle. Oh, we could do one more though. There we go. Now we got a good angle. So kid gets lunged by the evil dragon, and the father is on the ground, and he does one last desperate move in order to save at least his kid. And the thing that he does, which is revealed later, but you can kind of see what it is, you know what I mean? It's like a plot twist that's not really a plot twist, so I'm not really spoiling anything telling you that. You can probably figure this out on your own. I assure you. He does a thing, and a mark appears on the protagonist's chest, and the exact same mark appears on the dragon chest. Their hearts are now connected. He now has a dragon heart, and the dragon has his heart. This is the plot of a 96 movie where Sean Connery is a dragon, call it Dragonheart. And minus the fact that the person making the pact in that movie was evil, and Sean Connery's dragon was a good guy. Minus that, it's pretty much the same thing that happens in that movie. So kid doesn't know, but kid has a dragon heart, and kid wants to kill the dragon at any cost. Did you not put the turn on a different layer? No, I decided to just roll over it. Is it gonna bite me in the ass? Possibly. But that's how I'm rolling. That is what I'm going with. Also, I don't think we need... There we go. I think this looks better. It could be a risky move, not gonna lie there. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So he wants to avenge his father killing the dragon and kill the dragon. But he doesn't know how. The dragon pretty much stopped rampaging after that. But mysteriously, when his life is at risk, the dragon reappears. Gee, I wonder why. And kind of helps him out. That calls the attention to a local arms merchant who realizes that the kid has some sort of relation to the dragon, but isn't sure what it is. And he is an arms merchant. So his goal is to revive the dragon in order to incite a war. He wants to incite a war because a war would give him a lot of money. So he can sell a lot of weapons, so the countries will be scared of the dragon and scared of the other countries, and he's gonna sell a lot of weapons, and he doesn't care if the whole world goes to shit as long as he has a lot of money. So he's kind of a flat villain, but realistic? Question mark? Well, turns out that everything he said was his motivation is actually bullshit. He is in fact the insano type of villain. He saw his plan originally was to solve war so he could reap the benefits of it, but then until the day he actually saw the dragon, and he kind of fell in love with it. He fell in love with how the dragon was very destructive, and he was like, oh, your destructiveness is so cute. I want that. He thought it was beautiful, beautiful destruction. The beauty of destruction is unparalleled and stuff like that. So he decided to try to revive the dragon, because the dragon went out of commission for a while. He decided he would try to revive the dragon and fuse with it. My dude wanted to fuse with a dragon so he could have absolute power of destruction, the power of mass destruction in the fingertip of his hands. So he could go bwahahaha like he always wanted. You see, when he was a little child, all he ever wanted was to go blah ha 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 and burn everyone to a crisp. It was his long life dream, you see. And that's his actual motivation. We decided at the very last minute in the final episode, because we needed a proper climax and there wasn't gonna be a decent fight if that didn't happen, apparently. Even though, theoretically speaking, the guy was physically superior to the protagonist throughout 95% of the series, so he really didn't need the final boss power-up, in theory. At least, he didn't know that he needed the final boss power-up, right? But, you know, the story kinda goes all over the place, really. It is remarkable how the story goes all over the place. You got the love interest turns out to be a human magical doll that was created by the villain, but then discarded because he thought she wouldn't be useful, but then it's like, oh, turns out you're useful after all. Let me use the override code and make you go super berserk mode, just to add insult to injury for the protagonist. Because now I am forcing the protagonist to fight the one person he ever loved, and this is all improv, by the way. Now that I think about it, one thing that was really interesting about that anime is that 95% of the villain's plans were just improvised. Now that I stop to think about it. That villain actually improvised a lot. He was really good at going with the flow. It was just like, oh, you guys gonna do this? Then I guess I can do this. I guess we're doing this now. Y'all being mini poopy heads? Okay, I'm gonna take the ball now. Oh, I think... Okay, so if I did this... Yeah, there we go. There we go. This makes it so this isn't too repetitive. And it looks a little bit better. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Now I'm gonna draw some rocky tiles. I'm gonna draw them a little bit more messy and confused. Or I could actually do... I think I'm gonna do the thing where we just hint at where the tiles are. Kind of like this. Make the tiles incomplete. Because I think it gives like a fun effect. See, it kind of works. It is a fun thing to do. It is a fun thing to do. And then I can add this. It gives complexity. There we go. Here we are. There we go. Here we go. I think this is fine. Man, I'm starting to get hungry. Uh-oh. I eat lunch at an unreasonably early time in the morning. I eat lunch way earlier than I should. Part of the reason why I eat lunch so early is because I do live with my grandmother. And help take care of her and stuff like that. So that means old people just eat way earlier. And if you're gonna do a schedule around helping, taking care and stuff like that, the food is just gonna be ready earlier, right? Which means you're gonna start eating early too. And that's how you end up with those eating habits. We go. Na, 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 na. Am I actually picking a proper size for the blocks? Not really. Usually this type of construction is more liberal, let's say, with some of its important aspects. Let's put it that way. Time has taken to open up a file and move my reference window. Kiba has produced a masterpiece. Eh? Nah, it still needs more work. It still needs more work. But thank you, Rose. Here we go. Just think your pixels are good. I appreciate that. Thank you. I am glad. Sushi. Sushi's so good. You guys like sushi? I like sushi. The funny thing is, I didn't like sushi at first. Because I had a bad encounter with sushi when I was little. Right? I ate one that was full of wasabi without knowing what it was when I was very young. And I think I can remember that, yes, it was actually full of wasabi. It was, in fact, full of wasabi. Which was why young me could not handle the taste. Obviously. So I didn't really try sushi again until much later in life. And I'll be very honest, chat. I tried it for weeb reasons. I was starting to get a lot into anime, and it was like, oh, this is Japanese food restaurant. Let me try Japanese food. And of course, Japanese food restaurants in Brazil do not reflect what Japanese people actually eat at all. I mean, you're gonna have some plates that are correct, but for the most part, people who actually are from Japan, they will see the things we do with sushi and cry, but that's okay. That is part of living in the Americas. That is the culinary experience of living in the Americas at this point, honestly. We do stuff to food that is not approved by the people that actually eat it. From the actual cultures that it comes from. It is part of life. It's been appropriated. It's ours now. Okay, so let's do some pollution hunting. This is good to go here. This doesn't need to go here. Here. I used to not like sashimi than I did. Yeah, yeah. The thing about sashimi and sushi is that they're very much acquired tastes. After you get used to it, it tastes really good, and it's actually like mouth-watering good. But until you get used to it, there is like a barrier you need to go through if you're from a culture that isn't already used to. There are certain types of food that are like that. People who don't like them will literally say stuff like, well, it's your instinct to not to eat and stuff like that, but you know, fuck that. I eat what I want. Bizacz. And it turned out to be a very good acquired skill to have to like sushi and sashimi, so I wouldn't make an ass of myself after I at Momochi's family's reunions. Because obviously there's gonna be sushi and sashimi there. Though getting used to cold pastries was a whole nother thing, but that's neither here nor there. Oh. Oh, this is a good detail. This is a good detail. Very much like this. But yeah. What was I talking about again? I was talking about Kerberos, right? Yeah, that anime was everywhere. It was everywhere at once. It was kind of refreshing to see, actually. Because it was from another time, so it didn't have all the conventions that it would have. An anime nowadays would absolutely be like a lit RPG. And more wish fulfillment-y, I think. This one wasn't. So that is absolutely something. Something different. Something different. Was it good? No. Not really. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was an anime of all time. But personally, I love watching this sort of stuff when I have sick days. I find it endearing in a sense. There we go. some shadow awkwardness. I think in this part, since this is darker, we can even go as far as making it full dark. Or the shadow to use full black. Because it works. There we go. And I also started watching one that I thought was kind of... It's obviously very power fantasy driven, but at the same time, I found it endearing. So check out this premise, right? There is a wise king that has ruled his country fairly. He has but on his deathbed, he has but one regret. His one wish. He had served the goddess and tried to do his best for his people. But he always wondered if he only could have devoted himself more to martial arts, to fighting. What would his true power? What would be the height of his true power? Because as a king, he could never do that. After he became a ruler, he had to sacrifice that life. But he really liked fighting. He was like a responsible Goku. And then on his deathbed, his goddess visits him and gives him an opportunity. Because he was such a faithful servant and did everything right that she asked, he's gonna get to reincarnate in the future and get a second chance at life to fulfill his one unfulfilled desire. It's okay to be selfish in this afterlife, the goddess tells him. And he reincarnates, ready to start a new journey in martial arts. With one little caveat, he is a she now. So he reincarnates as a little girl. And it's fantasy world, so he doesn't have to worry too much about not being able to reach peak of fighting prowess, because fighting prowess also includes magic. And as it just so happens, the type of magic he is good at using for some reason doesn't exist anymore in this world. This is actually an important plot point, by the way. And does he really care about finding out? No. He cares about finding strong opponents. But he is a good-natured person at the end of the day. So he is going to help here and there, even if his priorities are completely different. His priorities aren't really that anymore. And thus start the journey. What is this anime called? Something really big. Hold up, I need to Google this. I think it was something like this. Yeah, Reborn to Master the Blade is the name. The art is really good. The girls looks really cute, by the way. Yeah. This is a Battle Maniac anime, and it's a pretty good one too. It's a really good one too. My dude lady is a bona fide Goku. Actually, I don't remember. I didn't pay attention. What pronouns the protagonist uses after reincarnating. Because at the end of the day, I guess I'm gonna use female pronouns. I think he starts using female pronouns in his new life. At the end of the day, she doesn't care. Like, there are a few segments that are dedicated a little bit to, like, oh, yeah, girl's kind of weird. Okay, moving on. They even did like some callouts of self-awareness. There is one scene where she is at a ball and she notices that every male guest is staring at her because she's pretty. And it's like, oh, I stare too long at ladies during my time. This feels extremely awkward. I feel bad for doing that, and moves on. So there is some self-awareness in that regard. But it's not like the anime goes out of its way to every 5 seconds they found an RPist, right, to fight against, because that's not the focus. That is not the focus of the show. The focus of the show is to have fun. So yeah, actually recommend it. So far, I found it pretty funny. Dare I say charming, even? And good times so far. I'll probably watch it more, maybe not today. I want to see if I can start working at night again, right? Because I still have to keep my legs raised. Still have to keep my legs raised, but I think I can work in the office like full time already. The healing, by the way, is going pretty well. There was barely any blood. When I cleaned it yesterday, when I cleaned the wound yesterday, so it's going well. It's going well. The guy who did the extraction did a pretty good job. Which is like really nice considering he would actually only work with direct cash pay, so yeah. And don't worry, that is not actually too shady. The problem with the thing that I had is that it wasn't really much of a problem. So it's one of those things that the insurance company doesn't really cover, you know? So thanks to that being a thing, insurance company not covering it and all that, I had to pay it outside of the insurance company needs coverage. So basically hard cash in hand. Thankfully, the dude didn't charge a lot for it. So it really wasn't that expensive. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't that expensive. I also always forget uh, how strong anesthesia is. It's really freaky. To like know on a conceptual level that the dude is like cutting you up and you'd like feel nothing. At times like this though, I like to like just not look at it and let the person do the job, basically. So like if I look at it, I could get like a reaction of some kind, like be a little bit too... I'm not too satisfied with the filtering. I am not. I think this feels a little bit like dirt. I don't like the little strays at the bottom. These ones are fine to me. The ones at the bottom I don't really... like. Don't find that too aesthetically pleasing, you know? Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. I've ever noticed that a lot of moral dilemmas are not only a little bit extremely unfair, but also kind of stupid. Maybe it's me. A lot of them are very unfair. It was on TV. I think it was there was like a Flash movie where, I don't know, the Flash can use his powers to travel in time. And he goes really fast and now he can travel in time or something like that. And then he tries to stop his mother from getting killed and his father for being blamed for it, which is like his origin story. But because of like some sort of butterfly effect plot contrivance, that causes the universe to explode and the Justice League to not be properly invented or something. So he ends up having to stop himself from saving his family, and then he becomes his own worst enemy. And it's all very strange and convoluted. It's all very strange and convoluted. And there is like this very weird moment where he is trying to convince himself to let go of what has happened. Because I guess that's the moral of the story, right? You need to let go of the past in order to see the future or something. But his past self is like, no, I can find a way to save everyone. And like, that is like the most superhero line ever, being framed negatively because of you knowing exactly what the consequences are. But the only reason you know that him saying that's supposed to be a bad thing is because you saw the results, so that's why it feels extremely unfair. Like, as a hero, you should shoot to try and save everyone, right? You shouldn't like settle with, oh, I sacrifice as few lives as possible. It's like, that's where I feel like, this is kind of what I like about card game anime. I feel like weirdly enough, out of all the medias, I feel like card game anime gets this the best. They get this better than everyone else. So here's an idea. Sometimes difficult sacrifices have to be made. That is true. The world can be unfair, right? And kind of uncool. And sometimes you need to make a bad decision. You need to let someone go from their job in order to save the job of everyone else, for instance, in a company. Sometimes you need to pick if you're actually gonna support your allies in a war or prioritize the well-being of your country. There are all these like very nuanced, hard decisions that can pop up in different and difficult situations. It's true. Those do pop up. However, those decisions are meant to be difficult. And the difference between a good person and an asshole in this type of scenario is that the decision isn't that difficult to the asshole. You know? Now, I only caught a fraction of the movies. I'm not saying that the Flash was being an asshole. But I think sometimes when these franchises are trying to portray this sort of stuff, they aren't stopping to really think how difficult these decisions should actually be for the heroes sometimes. Just sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. And I like how card game anime emphasizes that on that pretty well. Usually, to emphasize that a character is the villain, one fun thing they will do is they will give him a tough choice deck, which is like you can empower your creatures at the cost of sacrificing weaker creatures or something like that. And it's meant to show how willing the antagonist is to throw his friends under the bus. And that is good writing, I think. Personally, I think that is good writing. Especially from just the regular angle that the card game anime genre goes, which is shonen. And shonen is about the power of friendship, right? So the antagonist will usually be shown a little bit too prone to discarding the people around them when they're no longer useful to him. And the shonen anime will use this to show the consequences of that. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. There are situations where you might need to throw people under. If you throw people under the bus, you get rewarded. But should you? And I believe the philosophy and morality of these decisions will vary a lot from show to show, right? Because sometimes maybe it was better to cut the toxic person off your life, right? Especially with rivals, that can happen a lot. And other times, your insistence with them may actually surprise you. And they'll actually turn out to be really decent people at the end of the day. Because you didn't give up on them. So the morality on that changes drastically. But I do think it's fun. I do think it's fun. Some anime actually do that in a way that is so effective, but so effective, that it turns out that the antagonist deck actually sucks. I always found it pretty funny when that happens. That happened a few times. I know one of the biggest examples of that happening was in an anime called Card Fight Vanguard, actually. So Card Fight Vanguard had this archetype called Dark Paladin, Shadow Paladin, sorry. Called Shadow Paladin, which was centered around sacrificing your own cards to gain benefits, right? So the idea was the weaker get eaten, that is their fate is to serve, to be eaten to our Dark Dragon Lord, and stuff like that. So there was a big badass dragon. The big badass dragon was tricking these paladins into serving him with cult-like mentality. And whenever the dragon needed to be powered up, he would just chow down on a few of the weaker members. And that was the deck mechanic. So the deck would revolve around trying to killing your allies and recruiting new allies to be eaten, right? So the original deck was actually terrible, particularly because the game designers haven't quite figured out the true value of like board presence in the game yet, which meant that the reward for the sacrifice was not tuned properly. It was not tuned properly at all. And as a result, the deck, the final boss deck was actually tier 4,000. Meanwhile, the protagonist had a deck that was Power of Friendship, and Power of Friendship it had because it was a super top meta deck, because the deck revolved around culling units and being emboldened by the units you called. So one deck had to sacrifice board presence in order to do his thing, while the other deck was just rewarded for doing the smart thing, which was keeping board presence around. So they accidentally made they delivered a very important message while making their product a product that no one would want to buy. It was incredible. And then they fixed that, and Shadow Paladin became like one of the top meta threads forever, because it was a clan favorite, because it was the edgy deck, and you know, it's for the game is mostly for teens, and teens are gonna want to play with the edgy stuff a lot too, right? So it was a fan favorite, and it kind of needed to be over it. If it was powerful, it would sell the sets like hotcakes. So they did make it powerful eventually, but for that one brief window, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Now, whenever I go on these rants about card games, I do wonder, do you guys follow it at all? Am I being able to, like, say it in a way that it makes sense even though you don't play card games? Because I do worry about that, because I do talk about card games a lot, because they were a big part of my life for a good chunk of time. So I do want to share these types of stories, but at the same time, I don't want to be talking to a crowd of people who look at me confused and are expecting me to change subject as soon as possible. So let me know if that's the case, please. I'll either go back to the drawing board and try to figure out a better way of telling these stories, or just stop with them altogether. I kind of wanted to do... This looks like a birdhouse. I didn't want to do a birdhouse, I wanted to do like a little lantern thing. No, I don't... Now that I think about it, this is not... This is kind of silly. I'm being a silly Billy right now. Maybe I could make like some symbols? But I gotta say, I am getting very, very hungry. It's almost time to end the stream too. So I don't think I'm gonna start anything too big right now. Instead, I am gonna save my progress here. What do you guys think? I think it's looking pretty decent. Maybe we could add some tutoring here. Tutoring is one of the best resources you can have if you have like a limited color palette to work on, because it creates the idea of an intermediary color. For these areas. It's like, it's not quite this color and it's not quite this color, is somewhere in the middle. Which is why I like this technique so much. It's also kind of relaxing, just like filling up the beep, 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 beep. I also like anti-aliasing, but anti-aliasing, I feel like this particular Game Boy Color pattern doesn't really allow for much. It would be really funny though to come back to these and try to make them in the Game Boy pattern, the old one. It would be very interesting. Should I try to add wood texture? I mean, it doesn't make it look worse. I add it like this. You know, it looks pretty decent. There we go. There we go. We could add this texture up here too. I think it wouldn't look half bad. Today I am gonna try to do my first outside activity after I did the little Snippity snip. Dogo needs to go to the vet. I talked about this before. It should be fine. I am gonna wear jeans though, just in case. Give like some extra armor in case the doggo gets scared and starts kicking. There we go. Perfect. Nice, 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 nice. I love how it's turning out. Not entirely sure if I should bring this area forward a little bit. But yeah, it is actually turning out pretty good. So everyone, that is about all the time we have for today. So thank you all very much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night. Stay awesome. And I am going to rate someone. See here. Should we raid? Who should we raid? Actually, now that I think about it, is there anyone that I know streaming right now? It is pretty early. Oh, hello Maori, welcome to the stream. I'm just about to raid out. How are you doing? Oh. Wait. Someone played Legend of Runeterra? Is that a thing? Interesting. Interesting. No, that's the name of a game I haven't seen in a long time. It's LRT. That's Legend of Runeterra, right? Unless it's Legend of Rings, duh. But I don't think they ever made a game called Legend of Ring, duh. That's very silly. That's very silly. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna raid this person. I haven't raided them in forever. Let me see if I got the name. Did I get the name correctly? I did not. Yeah, I did not. There we go. They're playing some gacha, just chilling. So let's go say hi and then go eat. So once again, everyone, thank you all very much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night. Stay awesome. And remember, when in doubt, when you think you cannot do it, just think like a ninja and sure you can. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye. See ya.